On the Mustangs Sports Network from Learfield, this is the Hilltop Hoop Show, presented by SMU Cox School of Business, with head coaches Andy Enfield and Toyelle Wilson. And now, live from Ozona Grill and Bar on Greenville Avenue, here is your host, Rich Phillips.
Good evening. Welcome to another week of the Hilltop Hoop Show here at Ozona Grill and Bar. Thanks, everybody, out here with us tonight at Ozona. We just got a few more weeks of this, so be sure you come out before the season comes to a close. Thanks to those of you joining us on the SMU Mustangs Facebook page as well. We will talk, of course, to SMU men's head coach Andy Enfield here in a few moments. But first, let's welcome up to the stage SMU women's coach Toyelle Wilson. How are you?
Good.
Long day at the office yesterday.
Yeah. Yep. And today.
Yeah. Is that the worst part of it, having to go back and watch it again?
No, I mean, really on Mondays the girls have off, and then we prep for the next opponent coming up because it's usually a 2-day prep. And so we got in the office this morning, met as a staff, and did some game prep and get ready because we practice in the morning. So we were probably in there for about 2 hours today, just prepping for us getting better and trying to win 2 out of these last 3.
Did have a good first quarter yesterday, up 18-16. Got away from you after there, especially that second quarter. Clemson shot 60% from the floor.
Yeah, I mean, they have a dynamic point guard in Loyal McQueen, and I thought our girls, the biggest thing is, like, I think our girls are fueled off offense. As you can see, you saw Nia, how she did in the first quarter, and they just made an adjustment of denying face guarding her, and we were prepared to basically make her a screener, and where they can't help off of other kids when she sets screens. And so the biggest thing, I think, they scored the bucket and our girls get defeated, but they have to remember, like, you have to still respond. Anytime a team's going to score, we have to respond and score also.
Rebounding a little out of character, I think, for the girls yesterday, too, especially they had 18 offensive rebounds. That's not something you've seen a lot of.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me, and I talked to our kids in the third quarter. Actually, TK had tweaked her back a little bit before at shoot-around, and so we really rely on TK, and she just wasn't herself. I couldn't play her more than 20 minutes. She just wasn't herself. I knew when a ball came about 1 foot from her and she didn't go get it, I knew that wasn't her. She had no defensive rebounds last game, and but she still tried to fight through it. We had the Mavs, the Dallas Mavs, masseuse work on her before the game, but we only had about 3 hours in between when she got hurt and our game, and so she tried to tough it out. But we really rely on Jess and TK to get a lot of our defensive rebounds, and that was a chance and opportunity for one of our other girls to step up and really get some of those rebounds that TK usually gets. And so, to me, offensive rebounds is effort. It's a 1-2, it's a will to, and so keeping people off the boards, that's now they're out hustling us, and that's 50-50 balls.
Yeah, you could just see just the way TK ran down the floor, up and down the floor, how much it was affecting her. I was impressed how long she was able to try to give it a go out there.
Yeah, I mean, it happened right at shoot-around. It started at 10 a.m., and then we had to be on the court at 1:30, 2 o'clock, and so it just wasn't enough time turnaround for her, and kudos to her. She tried to tough it out, but, I wasn't going to, at the sake of her health and safety, I wasn't going to have her be out there, and just with all the injuries we have, it was just another, thing that happened. But I think our girls understand, we talked after the locker room, like, it was Play for K, it was Alumni Day, and it has to be bigger than basketball, and there's people out there fighting bigger battles than on a court. And so, it has to be still that fight.
Yeah, you mentioned Alumni Day. You had a nice showing from alums, right?
Yeah, I mean, kudos to, Peyton, AK, and DP. They really put together, reached out for a lot of alumni. I think it's the most we've ever had in the last 5 to 10 years, but we had about, 40 people, 40 alumni out. So that was really nice for them to come, and we visited with them before the game, spoke with them, and so it was a really nice turnout, and I was glad that a lot of people came back that haven't been back in a while.
Jessica Peterson did have her 4th double-double in a row. She's now just 20 rebounds away from tying Alicia Frawling's single-season record in SMU history. That's a big number she's put up this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, though. That means missing a lot of shots, one, if it's offensively, but defensively, she just has that will, that determination to go after every rebound. Yesterday she got mad that another player got a rebound. Like, that's her mentality, you know, but she can't get every one. But I like that we're fighting over rebounds, and she has that, like I said, that knack for the ball and to rebound out of her area. It was nice to see.
And then Nia Robertson had 14 yesterday, 493 points she has on the season, 7 away from 500, and she would only be the 7th person to do that in SMU basketball history. That's quite a number, too.
Yeah, that is. I mean, you know, it's a lot of the small wins you don't know or put in perspective when you're going through a lull like this. But, you know, Nia came out hot last game, and, you know, now she has to understand how when teams make adjustments, especially in this league, how she still can be effective. And we got to help her with that, too. And I'm going to meet with her also just to help her a little bit because she still is growing. She still is learning. And we'll have her for another year. And so we got to make sure that we can help her grow.
Our segment each week with Toyelle Wilson is brought to you by Ozona Grill and Bar here on Greenville Avenue with the best patio in town and happy hour from 4 to 7 every Sunday through Friday. Specials including free chips and salsa. Ozona Grill and Bar, find your comfort zone. Of course, all season long you're in the midst of recruiting, right? And you've already got your first class that you signed back in November. Tell us about the 3-player class you have signed already for next season.
So Alba is a 6'3" lefty post player from Spain, played at one of the highest levels in Spain, so we're really excited about her. There was actually a lot of teams in the ACC recruiting her, and so you guys are really like Alba, face up, can shoot the three, can pass the ball, will be a great inside presence. Mieta is a 6-foot lefty wing. So we have a 6'3" lefty wing or a lefty post and a 6'3" or 6-foot lefty wing. And Mieta can score at all 3 levels. She's a lefty. I love lefties because they're different. They're unique. They're a mismatch problem. A lot of people force people to go left. And so I'm excited about Mieta. Again, she was another kid that was recruited at the high level, Power 5, Big 12 level. So I'm excited about her. And then we have a freshman coming from Oklahoma in Sanaya Richardson. She had her senior night last week. All 4 coaches just went to her game, and she had 28 points. And so she's a dynamic point guard and something that we definitely need. So, again, she's ranked top 80 in the country. So really excited about her. And then now the transfer portal will come up March 25th. It opens up, and we'll be able to dive into the transfer portal and get some immediate people that can play in the ACC. Again, we have a starting 5 on the sideline that was injured this year, and so we got to get some kids in here to be able to play and compete at this level.
March 28th, that sounds like a real convenient time for some teams, huh?
Yeah, I mean, well, March 25th it opens, and then you can get in. You just can't get in after the 30 days. So I'm excited about the opportunity now that we can really talk about Dallas and the dynamic of the ACC and the dynamic of our academics and why it would be a great situation here at SMU.
The conference has to be such a huge draw because as good as men's basketball is, I think some people don't realize women's basketball is that much good, if not even better, in the ACC right now.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, of the 18 teams, 14 teams are ranked in the top 80 net and top 25. I mean, right now, Duke and Notre Dame just played, and Notre Dame beat Duke by 15, and they're ranked top 10 in the country, each of them. So our conference is unbelievable. Like I said, it's the net, the power that comes out of our conference. You have to bring it, and even with men's basketball, too, I know they talk about the ranked teams and the top teams that are ranked in that conference, but the ACC is a different beast. It's a different animal, and at the end of the day, you got to have recruiting and you have to have talent.
Mm-hmm. All right, 2 games for you this week, both in the league. Thursday, an early one, a 5 o'clock Central Time start at Wake Forest. It's on streamed on the ACC NX. You can also hear John Henry on the SW Mustangs app with that one. Wake, 8-17, only 1-13 in the league. You have to approach this as one of your opportunities left here on the schedule to move up in the ACC standings.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Wake's going to be at home. It's their Power K Yao game, and so this is a great opportunity for us to play on the road and be able to execute this game. I watched film all day today with them, of them, and it's a great opportunity. I think it's a great matchup for us.
Riley Turkoff, their leading scorer, 11.5 points per game, but they're a little bit of a lower scoring team. Will they try to slow the pace down on you some?
Well, I think they're just lower because just that level, their talent, but I don't know if it's about them slowing the pace up, but they'll run their stuff. And they're going to definitely look. They have an inside presence. They have a couple shooters. But we got to do what we do, and we got to come and play. And, I told the girls, it's the difference between talent and effort doesn't take talent. And so I want our girls to come out with a better showing this time.
And then Sunday, you're on the road at Boston College. That'll be a 1 o'clock start, also on the streamed on the ACC NX. They're 13-15, 4-11. They're going to have the whole week off to rest and prepare. I know they've got Tanaya Todd, who leads them with 14 points per game, and she's going to shoot it from deep, 48.5% on three-pointers.
Yeah, they have a couple people that can shoot the three. They play about 5 guards on the floor, and so I'm sure they'll switch 1 through 4, 1 through 5, and so we got to be able to make sure we can execute offensively, push pace before they can set their defense up. But right now my focus is just Wake Forest. To be honest, I haven't watched Boston College yet. Just trying to prepare and win one game at a time.
Well, that Wake Forest game is Thursday night, 5 o'clock. Again, ACC NX, and John Hendry on the SMU Mustangs app. Toyo, thank you. We'll see you next Monday.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That is Toyo Wilson joining us here. We'll talk to Andy Enfield coming up next here on the Hilltop Hoop Show. Welcome back here to the Hilltop Hoop Show, Monday night, 7 o'clock at Ozona Grill and Bar. If you want to support your favorite Mustangs, join SMU's official NIL partner, the Boulevard Collective. The Boulevard leverages NIL and the DFW community to develop excellence and leadership capabilities in SMU student athletes while supporting the missions of SMU and the SMU Athletic Department. Visit boulevardcollective.com to join and learn more. Let's welcome up here SMU men's basketball coach Andy Enfield. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Split last week, 19-6 now on the year, and ended last week on a down note, obviously, with a 77-66 loss at home to Wake Forest. And we'll start off with what everybody keeps asking me about. No Boopy Miller in that game. Tell us about his injury and, I guess, what his prognosis is here in the coming week.
Well, we hope that he's back sooner than later. We found out the day before the game that he was probably not going to play, and then unfortunately he was not able to play. So we hadn't played without him all season, and he's our leading scorer and our leading assist guy, and really sets the pace for us. And he was playing extremely well the last 5 games in the 5-game winning streak. So it definitely was challenging to play without your leading scorer, leading assist guy, but thought our other guys played hard. We just didn't have quite enough, and of course Johan Traore was out as well. And we expect Johan to be back this week, which is positive news.
Yeah, you mentioned leading scorer, leading assist guy, but he's also really picked his play up on the other end of late, has he not?
No, he's been terrific defensively. Our whole team has improved defensively. We had our lapses. First half we played good defense. Second half we had a couple of lapses, but Boopy's been playing great basketball. Really, like our other guys, have improved so much this year. Yeah,
it is always next man up, but you mentioned Johan Traore being out again. The bench started to get a little short for you there, wasn't it?
Well, we have 2 guys that are redshirting, and then you take 2 other guys out. So,
yeah.
But I thought, our bench, played well. They gave us some minutes. Tibet and A.J. George and Keon, they came in, Jarrell. So it wasn't, they weren't the reason we struggled at times. I thought they gave us good energy.
13-0 run early on in the first half put you up 10. What did Wake do after that to kind of turn the tables on you and fight back in?
Well, it wasn't necessarily what Wake did. They're an outstanding basketball team, first of all, but we just started missing wide open threes. And, their guy came off the bench, went 5 for 7, and our 3 guards went 5 for 25. So basically they'd have to go 0 for their next 18, which they did. And so we struggled from the 3-point line, especially our 3 starting guards, and that hurt us.
Yeah, Parker Fredrickson, I think, had made like 12 threes coming into that game. He had to step in for Hildreth, so they probably didn't feel bad for you because they were missing their number 2 guy.
Yeah, he played great. The first shot he made, it was an out-of-bounds play, fading away in the corner. Then it ended the shot clock with less than a second left. He just caught it and shot it, went in. And so give him credit. He made a lot of tough shots, and he was ready to play.
Did their switch to a zone give your guys some problems?
First half, we got 5 clean looks. We missed four wide open threes. Second half, they'll stay in the zone. They went back to it. It was their man-to-man that we just didn't. We didn't get the ball inside to cement enough, and our guards just shot an inefficient percentage, and that happens sometimes. Unfortunately, it happened with our entire backcourt at the same time.
Yeah, of course, I know they double-team Cement a lot, too. You mentioned didn't get it into him enough. Is a little bit of that the after effect of not having your point guard?
Well, Boopy creates a lot of things. He averages over 6 assists a game, and he does get our bigs the ball in the rolls and the ball screens. But other guys are good passers, too. We try to share the ball, and we had enough assists. We just Cement. They double-teamed him every time he caught the ball in the post, so he has to score on quick actions, meaning roll to the rim, seal, and we need to get the ball to him quicker so he doesn't get double-teamed. And also in transition, so like against Pittsburgh on Tuesday, he was terrific. He had 17.7 rebounds, and he was just so active and energetic in rolling to the rim and sealing that he was able to get the ball in scoring position without the double coming.
Is working against those and through those double teams kind of the next step in Cement's development?
Well, he's a good passer. He'll pass it. He's a very willing passer, and he's a very unselfish player.
You did have to like when you dipped into the bench a little bit. A.J. George gave you a quick burst, 6 points in 6 minutes off the bench in the second half.
He was terrific. Came in ready to play and helped us.
Guys like that, you got to like it when they haven't gotten the opportunities, and he comes ready to go for you the other night.
That was very impressive, and Tibet did the same thing in the first half. We played Tibet in the first half, A.J. in the second half, and Tibet had 2 assists, and A.J. had those 6 quick points. So they're good basketball players. We're a very deep team, and sometimes it's hard as a head coach to play guys on your bench as many minutes as you want to. Like Keon Ambrose Hilton's been, he's really improved as well, and we didn't probably get him enough minutes on Saturday. But it's hard because you only have so many minutes to go around, and certain guys do certain things. Like Matt Cross, it's hard to take him off the court when your team isn't rebounding because he's the one guy that rebounds every night. And so if the other guys aren't rebounding, sometimes it's hard to take him off the court.
What was the difference defensively first half to second half? They shot 39% in the first half and 50% in the second half.
Well, the first 6 minutes of the second half was not SMU defense the way we've been playing. In our last 8 out of 9, we won, and we just did not defend the first 6 minutes of the second half. We didn't have the intensity. We didn't have the rotations, and then we gave him a couple offensive rebounds where we had 3 or 4 guys around the rim and one guy come in and take it from us. So that's not a recipe for success, especially in a game that big.
You slip behind Wake now in the conference standings. How big of a push do you have over these final 6 trying to get that double bye going into the ACC tournament?
Well, we're going to do the same thing we've done all season, take it game by game. We play Wednesday night. We're trying to get our 20th win. That's our main focus. We're not worried about Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. We want to try to get our 20th win on Wednesday night on the road against a very talented team and a tough place to play.
We'll talk about that one at Notre Dame coming up here in a few minutes. Quickly, let's just kind of touch on the other game last week, 83-63 win over Pitt, a game you never trailed. I don't know if it was your most complete game of the year, but there had to be an awful lot of good that came out of film session after that game, I would think. Well,
our guys played great. They shared the ball and played terrific defense, held them to – I'm not sure what the final field goal percent.
32%.
Yeah. And that's been a key to our success, why we were able to go on these winning streaks with our defense.
You mentioned Cement, 17 points, 10 rebounds. It's been more the norm of what we've been seeing. You have to just love the development he's gotten. It's his first go-around playing American version of basketball here.
Yeah, Pitt has a very good center.
Yeah.
And Cement did a really good job coming out with energy and scored the ball quickly, but he was moving his feet, very much like the Stanford game the week before where he was all over the place. And when he can give us that on both ends, he's as good as any center in our league.
And then Cario Oquendo came off the bench with 17 in the Pitt game. Was that a little bit of a factor of Saturday's game that he had to go in the starting lineup, but you didn't have Cario as your 6th man giving you some quick energy off the bench?
Yeah, he played great on Tuesday night at Pitt. He came in, made shots, he defended, rebounded, and when guys at this level, Cario's been in college basketball for quite a few years, so he's been starting, he's come off the bench, so he's been multiple places. So I don't really think that affects him one way. He's done a really good job for us being our 6th man. He started the first 5 games, and then when Matt got healthy and Semek was eligible, we moved him to be the sixth man, and he's done a great job this season.
Our segment with Coach Enfield each week is brought to you by the SMU Cox School of Business. Long-term career success begins at the SMU Cox School of Business with the number 27 full-time MBA in the nation. Our commitment to your success, new state-of-the-art facilities, and welcoming national network combine to help open doors here in Dallas and beyond. Learn more at smu.edu/cox/Pony Express. Of course, today is President's Day, and we had President's Day at Moody Coliseum Saturday afternoon when George W. Bush in attendance. First off, that's pretty cool, isn't it, to look across the floor and you see a president sitting there? That doesn't happen very often.
Well, it happens quite a little bit here at SMU. I like the fact that he's a fan, and his wife Laura went to SMU, so they've been very supportive of everybody here, not just the basketball, men's and women's, but all the sports. It's pretty cool.
Have you had a chance to meet them at all?
Yes, very nice people and very energetic.
Yeah.
Just great people to have in the city and fans of SMU.
There's no place else you've coached that has presidents coming to the game, right?
Just the school president, not the president of the United States.
It's kind of cool seeing him over there. Okay, because of this league size these days, I wanted to talk about league schedule, and not only that, your schedule overall, but how it changes the way scouting goes, because in league play, it's a new scout every single game pretty much. So far we've had one repeat, Virginia, and we'll next week have two with the Cal-Stanford trip. What kind of challenges is added for you and your staff? Because I noticed it a couple weeks ago when I'm doing my game prep, and I was like, why am I working so hard this year? It's because every team is new that we see. I can't imagine how much different it is for the workload for you and your staff.
Yeah, it is unique. We play 3 teams twice and the other 15 teams once. So you have a different game plan every 3 or 4 days, and it's a lot of work because my assistant coaches take the scouts, but I have every scout, so I have to look at everything. And so, like you, I had to do a lot of prep, but we have a terrific staff that kind of does a lot of preliminary work beforehand, and so when we show up and meet as a staff, they have it all laid out, and they're outstanding coaches. I've never been to Notre Dame. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, until I saw the weather up there, it's negative
Yeah.
5 or negative
cold.
10, whatever it is. So, but I've never been to Notre Dame, so looking forward to that. And they have a great campus and obviously a pretty good team.
Yeah, you've got your 5 assistants, divide up the scouts, Chris Capco, Jay Morris, Dana Ford, Eric Mobley, Kurt Karras. You've had that assigned from the very beginning of the season. I know because I have the whole list of who my pregame guests are on the radio broadcast. What are their responsibilities specifically when they go to scout a game for you?
Well, the offensive plays, what the other team runs, what we have to guard, that's the main thing. The personnel of each player, give our players a detailed explanation of their strengths and weaknesses. And then any presses or press offense or out-of-bounds plays, it's pretty detailed. And if you ever have the opportunity to come to a shoot-around, we have a practice. We call them shoot-arounds. They're really an hour-long practice the day of games. And it's very detailed. And the response I usually get from fans or people that have attended before is like, wow, we can't believe your players have to remember so much. And it is our guys do a very good job of paying attention to the details, and that's a big key. You go into the game prepared, and then you have to go play.
And you have those guys run the scout team portion of practice. Because
yeah.
I've seen other coaches that still go ahead and run scout themselves. Have you always done it that way?
Well, I'm a little different. I work for Leonard Hamilton, who's retiring this year at Florida State for 5 years, and he gave us a lot of responsibilities as assistant coaches. I always appreciated that when I was an assistant coach. We had the scouts. We with the recruiting, we kind of said, hey, these players are the guys we want to recruit, and he said, okay. And then game planning gave us a lot of responsibility. So I try to do that for our staff to make them take ownership of the program and try to hire guys that are better than me at a lot of areas, and so they do a terrific job. And so they do a lot of the teaching. They do a lot of the video work, teaching our team, especially with the scouts.
How many games do those guys watch of the opponent?
Usually about 4 or 5 games, the prior 4 or 5 games. But then there's a thing called Synergy, which is a software product that you can click a couple buttons and watch any video. I could pull up Bob Sharp's offensive moves from last month and see that he's won for his last 48 from the field. doesn't really have a go-to move, and so we don't have to guard him. But then I might take a look at some other guys that are pretty good. So we do have a lot of video at our disposal where we can get pretty quickly.
How many games do you watch of each opponent?
I don't watch full games. But actually, on the plane, I'll probably watch 2 Notre Dame games on the way to South Bend, full games, where I can fast forward. But then I'll watch a lot of the situations. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the out of bounds, how they guard ball screens, what they do in special situations. Do they press? Do they play zone? And really get a feel for their overall game plan.
And then I find it interesting, you guys refer to all the opponent players by name. I've dealt with coaches who go just numbers only.
I can't remember numbers, so
You can remember the names better than the numbers?
Names are much easier for me.
Really? Do the players like it that way?
Well, our scout team, they actually put the numbers of the opposing team, so they'll say number 4, but number 6, but I'm just so used to. In the NBA, when I coached in the NBA, no one knew what anybody numbered. We knew Michael Jordan was 23. That's about it. But we if it was Patrick Ewing or Reggie Miller or Jordan, or we knew who they were.
I have trouble remembering all our guys' numbers because I'm sitting down there at the court. I know what they look like sometimes I'm sitting at the court, so I get that. Is scouting fun? Is it tedious? Is it both?
Well, I think if you're in this business, there's a lot of things you enjoy, and there are some tedious things. It's a very time-consuming. Recruiting is the biggest time-consuming because that's all year round. And the scouts are very important, but it's a lot of work, and that's why we divide it up in assistant coaches. But that's a lot of times I have early mornings and late nights because as a head coach, I have to be prepared for every game and really know the details.
And then lastly, how do you handle self-scouting? Self-scouting, that's a huge part too, right?
Yeah, when you go on the video this morning, you say, I can't believe we just missed the last 5 shots, and I'm watching this, and maybe I could have done something different, meaning maybe I should have had someone else in the game, or maybe I should have run a different play, or defensively, maybe we should have guarded the ball screen a little differently. So you always try to learn from your strengths and weaknesses, your mistakes, and sometimes you may do things perfectly and someone just misses a wide open shot, or defensively you may play it the right way and someone on the other team makes a really challenging shot. So there are things you have to look at and get better at as a team and as a coaching staff.
Is that mostly you, or does the staff do the self-scout too?
Yeah, we all do it, and but as a head coach, there's everybody makes mistakes, players, coaches, head coaches, and sometimes I say, I can't believe I just threw the ball to that guy. Why did I call that play? And shoots an air ball, and that's my fault. And so you just have to keep learning. And sports is the reason sports are so fun to watch because the unexpected happens.
Of course.
And you can't prepare for every unexpected thing that happens. But that's the cool thing about coaching. You have to be on your toes, and you have to adjust to some things that don't go your way or things that happen that you're not accustomed to.
2 games this week for the Mustangs that you and your staff have scouted for, obviously. Starts on Wednesday night at Notre Dame, 6 o'clock start. Thank goodness we get a 6 o'clock on the road, huh? Not 9 o'clock Eastern?
Yeah, we've had 3 9 o'clock Eastern games. You're back at 3:34. I got bed at 4:15 in the morning. Our last show was at Virginia Tech. Was that it?
I think so, yeah. We're too old for that, I think.
You are.
That's your first shot you've taken at me, I think, this year. 6 o'clock Central Time on the ACC Network. Scott Garner and I will have it on the SMU Mustangs app. The Fighting Irish 11-14, 5-9 in the league. Marcus Burton for them missed all of December with a knee injury, and since then he scored 20 or more in 10 of 12 games. He doesn't qualify technically in the league rankings because he hadn't played 75% of their games. He's played 72%. But at 21.3 points per game, he would far and away be leading the league. This guy could score from anywhere, it looks like.
He's 6 feet, about my size. I might be a little taller, but he's much quicker and faster than I am. But he is a terrific player. He shoots it from the mid-range, shoots it from threes. Very, very dynamic. He's hard to guard, and we'll have our hands full.
Thing that caught me in watching some of him today, too, was as much as he scores, he's not afraid to pass the ball. He's a really good passer, too, isn't he?
He's just an outstanding offensive player.
And it's not just him. Tay Davis scores 15 and a half a game, gets to the line a ton. And Braden Shrewsbury, the head coach's son, 13 and a half a game. He's made 67 threes. Do you focus on everybody else and let Burton do his thing? Because he's going to get his points, right?
Well, it's kind of like when we played Stanford, Maxime Renaud, we knew he was going to score 20 points. It's just a matter of how efficient that 20 is going to be, meaning I think we held him to 5 for 17 from the field. So Burton is going to score. He's going to take some shots, a lot of shots, and we just have to try to do our best so he shoots a lower percentage than maybe he's normally does.
And then Saturday, back home with Clemson, 3 o'clock at Moody Coliseum, also on the ACC Network. They're up 5 spots to number 18 in the AP poll. No, you haven't done a scout on them, but I know you've watched them play some, because especially a week and a half ago when they beat Duke. You have to be impressed with what you've seen of Clemson when you've been scouting some of the other teams, obviously.
Oh, they're very, very tough. They're experienced, and they have great size. They have 2 big guys that really are skilled and big and long, and then they have their guards are outstanding. So I think Clemson's one of the best teams in the country. Before we were one game out until Saturday, so now we're 2 games out of it. So it's going to be a big game, but we're really haven't watched a lot of Clemson yet. We've been watching Notre Dame here, so we'll try to get to them when we Thursday when we get back.
Yeah, Chase Hunter, 7th in the league in scoring, and then you mentioned their 2 bigs, Ian Shefflin and Victor Locken, who leads the league in block shots. Obviously, a big test coming up Saturday. Hopefully another big crowd like we had this past Saturday, and hopefully a great week. Again, we've got the women playing on the road Thursday, 5 o'clock at Wake Forest, Sunday at home at Boston College at 1 o'clock. And then for the men, we are at Notre Dame. Wednesday night at 6, Saturday at home against Clemson at 3 o'clock. We're going to see everybody there, all right? Andy, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to it this week. Thanks for everybody coming out once again to see us here at Ozona Grill and Bar. We'll see you next week on the next edition of the Hilltop Hoops.
This has been the Hilltop Show with head coaches Andy Enfield and Toyelle Wilson. Presented by the SMU Cox School of Business and broadcasted live from Ozona Grill and Bar on the Mustangs Sports Network from Learfield.